They say that everything's temporary and nothing is permanent, and that's where Vanitas steps in. It's a fancy old word for a not-so-fancy truth that all the shiny stuff we chase, beauty, fame, money and more, eventually turns to dust. Basically, the concept of emptiness or futility. This notion goes way back, with Ecclesiastes in the Bible dropping the line, "Vanity of vanities, all is vanity." What that means though is that life's glitter and shine is a big mirage, or in a darker way, that everything is futile. Think of those eerie Renaissance paintings of skulls, wilting flowers and hourglasses. They all sing the same tune, that life is running out. Vanitas isn't just art though. For lack of a better word, it's a mood, a soft slap from history reminding us that no matter how much we've got going on, it's all fading and fast. From ancient scribes to gloomy poets to today's burnt-out influencers, the idea hasn't left us alone. Why chase what won't last? Is there even meaning if all fades? And that's exactly what we're diving into. This ghost of an idea that keeps haunting our daily lives, whether we're aware of it or not. From Shakespeare's brooding monologues to a saint's soul-deep confessions, we're tracing the shape of Vanitas through time. And with that, let's begin unpacking this old-school reminder in a world obsessed with what's next. Alright, let's start with Shakespeare, the guy who basically turned life's big questions into theatre gold. He was obsessed with how love, glory, and the whole dramatic package eventually fades. In Macbeth, he drops this gut punch of a line, "Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage." Translation, that we're all just actors and the curtain's coming down. Then in Cymbeline, he doesn't pull any punches. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers come to ash. Simply put, it doesn't matter whether you're prince or peasant, everyone ends up in the same dust. In Sonnet 73, one of his most famous works in his 154 sonnets, he's feeling the chill of aging, comparing life to falling autumn leaves and dying embers. The man knew that time wasn't just ticking, it was straight up siphoning youth and swagger. Even fame, that shiny golden carrot, gave Shakespeare the side-eye. In Romeo and Juliet, he asks, "What's in a name?" As if to say, even being a household name won't save you from a tombstone. Here's the kicker though. The guy who wrote so much about life's impermanence somehow stuck around forever. His plays, all about how nothing lasts, ended up lasting for centuries. It's ironic really when you think about it. By confronting mortality head-on, he became immortal. Shakespeare's stage wasn't just drama, it was a mirror showing us that no matter how big we dream, we're all just passing through. Now then, let's jump back to the 4th century with St. Augustine of Hippo, a guy who partied hard, really, really hard, before becoming a saint. Young Augustine was all about the good life, chasing pleasure, puffing up his pride, and grabbing anything shiny in Roman North Africa. And that's modern-day Algeria, by the way. And one day, he hit a wall. A wall that led him wanting something more, longing for something greater than any earthly pleasure. In his book Confessions, he, confesses, "Our hearts are restless until they rest in you," he wrote to God. Turns out, chasing the high life left him feeling empty, like trying to hold on to smoke. St. Augustine figured out that life without a higher purpose is kinda hollow. He called the body a burden and the world a temporary inn. Nice for a stopover, but definitely not a home. Time to him was some real slippery stuff. The present barely exists at all, he said. Just a razor-thin edge between memory and expectation. Alongside memories, longings just further proved to him that nothing sticks around. But he wasn't sulking about it. He just realized that earthly honors are like wrapping paper on a gift, just meant to make it look nice temporarily, but not the real present. So he ditched the status chase and leaned into his faith in God. Meaning, with reference to life at least, he said, comes from something beyond the here and now. St. Augustine's big takeaway was that all things we do are hyped up. Wealth, fame, and everything in between fade and fade fast. And that's okay if you're anchored to something bigger. His story is like a spiritual party, reminding us what actually lasts when the lights go out. So now, we've got Shakespeare and St. Augustine, two big-brain intellectuals, centuries apart, both wrestling with the same truth, that life's shine doesn't stick for long, but they come at it from totally different angles. Shakespeare's chilling in the Renaissance England, spinning plays and poems that basically shout, "Everything fades." And that's from Macbeth, by the way. And down in Sonnet 73, life's painted as a quick stage act or a dying season, all about how the human hustle ends in dust. He's not preaching, just holding up a mirror and showing how fame and love slip away with a bittersweet nod to their beauty. St. Augustine, all the way back in the 4th century, plays it differently. He's all in on faith in God, saying that chasing worldly things like parties, titles, and ego is building sandcastles at low tide, fragile and temporary. His Confessions is all about anchoring your heart to something bigger, something eternal, and maybe I'll do a video on that one day. Where Shakespeare's cool with life being a grand, fleeting drama, St. Augustine sees the same flicker as a cue to look up and aim higher. But here's the catch, they both get Vanitas. Conceptually, that nothing lasts, whether it's a king's crown or a killer love sonnet. And their message? Don't cling too hard to the shiny stuff. Enjoy it, sure, but don't mistake it for eternity. Shakespeare invites us to savor the show, and St. Augustine tells us to look for meaning in little things. Together, they remind us to live with eyes wide open and to chase what matters, not what just sparkles. Now then, Vanitas isn't just some dusty old art philosophy thing. It's alive and kicking in our world, especially online. Just scroll through social media for a minute, and boom, it's basically a digital Vanitas gallery. Perfect selfies with just the right filter, viral posts chasing likes, all screaming, "Look at me," before disappearing into the algorithm's void. We're out here curating these polished moments, but let's be real. Today's trending reel is tomorrow's forgotten scroll. Skulls and hourglasses are still being painted today. The only difference is that now it's with emojis and hashtags. We like to think that we've got time under control, scheduling every second like productivity pros, but it still slips through our fingers with every swipe. That post that you spend hours crafting, well, it gets lost in a day. The chase for clout, followers, views, and that shiny blue checkmark feels massive, until it doesn't. Even top influencers fade out eventually. We're all trying to leave a mark, to be remembered. But history's brutal, and the truth is, most of us will be lucky just to get a footnote. But hey, that's not a downer, it's a wake-up call. Social media's just another stage, and just like Shakespeare's actors, we're strutting for a brief, bright moment. And while the world and the high-speed age whizzes past us, Vanitas is still whispering, to drop the illusion and focus on what lasts. Maybe it's a real connection, a moment of honesty, or helping someone when no one else is watching. Our feeds will fade, but the truth behind them, that's gonna stick. They say everything's fleeting, and Vanitas gets that without turning it into a pity party. It's not about crying over beauty, fame, or whatever glittery thing is on the timer. It's about seeing clearly. Shakespeare wrote about kings and lovers crumbling to dust, but his words are still front and center. St. Augustine gave up the party life for something deeper, trading chaos for peace, and not the fleeting kind. Their stories embody the entire idea of, well, don't sweat the stuff that fades. Vanitas isn't here to kill the vibe. It's here to remind us what's worth holding on to. Real bonds, big ideas, the stuff that holds on even when the spotlight doesn't. A viral post or a golden crown might not last, but that's not a negative. In reality, it's freedom. Freedom to live for now, not for some made up forever. So yeah, while you're doom scrolling through the chaos, maybe pause for a sec and forget the fake stuff. Go after what's real and make every moment count. Thank you for watching.